Hi, welcome to Live Dungeons and Dyslexia. I'm joined today with Dean Lucius, also known as Technobabble, the incredibly talented creator that has very kindly released several of his projects on my Patreon. So if you are a member of my Patreon and you're getting the freebies, Dean is there. So welcome to the channel, Dean.
Hello, all.
And today we're going to be focusing on this. I'm going to tease the cover before I sort of let you speak so people can see exactly what it is. And I love this cover.
That was done by Attila. He did the Shadowfinder cover that's on Kickstarter right now.
I love black and white stuff with one other color, just really subtle colors. I think we're used to seeing red on a lot of these type of things, and it's quite nice that you've gone green, because this book's about playing green skins, I believe.
You know, I thought about, instead of going to the black cover, I'm thinking about going with a very dark green, so it stands out just a little bit, but not too much. So if it's on your shelf, you'll see you could just catch a hint of that slight color variation.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good plan. It's a good plan. I'm not opposed to it, because what is it? Letters from the Dark. They're all a variety of different colors, aren't they? So
yeah. Some people like, though, they're purists and they want the black.
Yeah. Well, you know, we got to shake it up, because
you can't please everybody, though.
No, and it's just a cover in reality, because all we ever really see is the spine. So
true.
Just make the spine. So welcome to the channel. We've met several times. We've played lots of live games now, and we're playing what we're doing, Atomic Shadows, tomorrow night.
Yep. It should be fun.
Yeah, exploding dice and Shadowdark, post-apocalyptic stuff. So
yeah, very, very Gamma World-ish.
Yeah. I think one of us will die quite quickly. I just think it's going to happen.
I think I have the most hit points because he exploded the dice a few times on that character.
Yeah, you're on a D4, weren't you? I think.
Yeah. I think it's like a scientist that is the D4, and the dice explode on hit points, so they just kept racking up. I think he has double like everyone else.
Yeah. Is that the one with 15 hit points?
Yeah, like 14, I think.
Yeah. Wow. I think I've got 7 or 8.
I thought someone was going to grab that character before I did, so I was like, I waited because I was thinking about making my own. But then I was like, I'll just take one of the ones that they have, and I just took that one.
Yeah. No, we've got this going live. Actually, is it? I think it's this week that I'm going to be putting this up on my Discord, because it's got to be about 3 weeks away. We're going live with you, I think.
Oh, you're talking about the live play?
Yeah. So, but before we get into this book, let's find out. What I want to do is just sort of find out how you got into the hobby, your first gaming experience, how you sort of started. Take me back to little tiny Dean.
I was 10 years old, Chicago. Another classmate of mine convinced our teacher that it was educational to play Dungeons and Dragons. And so she let us, like, I think it was on Fridays at the end of the day, play Dungeons and Dragons in the classroom. And this was before the Satanic Panic, but that's how I got introduced to it. And, you know, that friend, he's still a very dear friend of mine. We've been friends since then, and 40 something years. So, and we game together often.
Oh, amazing. Everyone that I've spoken to from America, their first experience is Dungeons and Dragons. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Did you have that walking through high school, getting worried about getting beaten up experience by carrying your D&D book in your bag?
No, in high school, I was too interested in girls, so I didn't play a lot in high school. I did I did the freshman years and stuff, but I was a big kid, so no one ever bothered me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, and I knew all the football players, so if they did, they would have gotten beat up.
You're one of those nerds that booked the trend.
Right. Well, I was, I was kind of not punk, but going that route, you know, like hanging out with those guys.
Yeah. See, I was always the same, because I was like in the top sets for everything other than English. Go figure, as a dyslexic. No one found out till I was in the last year at university. But I was the same, because I played football and rugby and hang around with the cooler kids, but still did all the nerdy stuff. No one ever bothered me.
at freshman orientation, the football coach walked past me and tried to recruit me immediately. And I was like, no, I didn't. I mean, I played like with friends on the street, but I had no desire to do it in a school setting. Like I said, I had other
Gills are far more interesting than
yes, exactly, right.
Throwing a pigskin around,
exactly.
rolling around in the mud with a bunch of dudes, is it? Yeah,
that's right.
You have some mad sports though in America, don't you? Because you're like, here's a sport that only us play, and
yes,
2 or 3 other countries. But
and people are fanatics. I'm not a big sports guy, but yeah, like my brother is, and people are fanatics on it.
Because we all grew up going, because the World Series of Baseball, and do you know what? I only found out the other day why it's called the World Series of Baseball.
And why? And what did you find out?
It's
because this is how much I know sports.
That's because that was the newspaper that sponsored it.
Ah.
So us in this country go, well, how can it be the World Series? And apparently it's to do with it was the newspaper or magazine that actually originally started, and that's why it's called the World Series. It's not because it's the world that plays it. It's anyway, we're not here to talk about my one fact about baseball, the only thing that I know. And I'm not even sure it's true, but I'm sure someone will let me know.
You know what? If you speak with total confidence, people will believe that it's true.
Yes, yeah. I think Juan and I were doing that a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
So carrying on after you gave up girls, did you then get back into the hobby? So what sort of took
you? I did play in high school, but I don't remember carrying the books around in high school. I remember carrying them around in grammar school, and our teacher yelling at us about it at the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in grammar school, getting yelled at many a time for reading that book instead of the book I was supposed to be reading, that kind of thing. But in high school, I don't remember carrying them around too much.
No. So what did you sort of, after you finished school, what games did you play into your 20s?
We played everything. Traveler, the original little black books of Traveler. We played Star Frontiers. We played Gamma World, the old Marvel superheroes, face rip system, just everything. Like the old Doctor Who, and what was the other one? It was like a spy game. It might have been Top Secret. I don't remember.
Oh, I've heard of it. I never played Top Secret.
Yeah, we played everything.
Yeah, I was going to guess Conspiracy X, because those sort of came on in the 90s, didn't they? I think off the back of the X-Files and things like that. So you playing predominantly a lot of Shadowdark now, hence the reason?
Yeah, actually, I still play a little bit of 5e. I'm running Dragonlance for a group of guys. Still running a Mutant Crawl Classics game, but most of my games have switched over to Shadowdark.
Yeah. So Dragonlance then on 5e? Is that?
Yeah, that's the 5e Dragonlance. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're actually playing the actual module, not adapting the sort of...
No, it's the newer one, the Shadow of the Dragon Queen. A group of guys wanted to play it, and I was, I GM it for them. So
yeah, that's cool. I haven't played 5e for a long time now, and it feels weird because obviously I'm playing a lot of Shadowdark and lots of other stuff, but I think in this hobby we get. I think the worst thing for me is bringing back an old system, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? If I go back to 5e now, I think I could quite settle into it. But I've still got that 2 or 3 weeks of not being sure of all the rules. Where Shadowdark...
Well, the problem with 5e is there's so many rules that you're constantly looking up stuff and reading like 10 paragraphs to figure out a spell or something like that.
Yeah.
Shadowdark's kind of spoiled me.
Yeah, it's spoiled everyone, hasn't it? My meat man came today. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? So I think I've mentioned it on the channel before. I'm a carnivore, so I use local produce. So one of the local butchers, the kids call him the meat man because he just turns up every week with lots of meat. And he does a load of 5e, and he started talking to me about they've just started a brand new campaign tonight and he was talking on the doorstep, and he started talking about feats and stuff. And I was like, there was a time I knew what he was on about and the combinations. And now I was just complete blank face. I was like, I don't know what you're saying anymore. And it's weird. It's only, I think, probably 3 years that I haven't played 5e.
Well, the problem that like some of these newer games have is you have to plan out a character 10 levels, ahead of time to make sure that you can do the thing that you want to do at level 10. Like Pathfinder, the first edition got ridiculous like that, where I'm making a first level character and it's going to be a campaign. So now I got to think about, well, where is he going to be in 8, 9, 10 levels? I have to make sure I take this, and this first so I can actually take this later. It just gets ridiculous. And then, like I said, it takes you hours to set up a first level character in those games because you're thinking about later down the road.
Yeah. What's the best multi-class? What prerequisite stats do you need? And I've just hit it again. Go on. Sorry.
No, it basically forces you to kind of min-max and metagame.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we've just hit second level because we're playing with Zane doing his Draskara campaign every other week on a Monday. We had the first session, and I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but Britt pretty much died 3 times, and then Dewan nearly died. But at the end of the session, he was like, right, you can get a second level. And you just forget that second level is all you get is hit points. Mm-hmm. That's it. There's nothing.
Well, there's some classes that
if you're a maid,
some classes that will give you something like I think even in the Atomic Shadows that we're going to be doing tomorrow, at second level you get another mutation, things like that. So there's some like third party stuff that you can get something, or like you said, spellcasters get something.
Yeah, they all got something. I got 3 hit points. That was it.
Well, at least you didn't roll 1.
No, I know, and that is the thing, because when you're playing around a table and someone rolls a 1, you, as a games master, you're like, do you know what? I'm going to let you re-roll that just because we're nice. Or occasionally I've gone, do you know what? You can make that as a 2. Because the problem with the re-roll is if they re-roll it and they get a 6, you kind of feel like, okay, that's a little bit, or max out on the dice. But you do kind of think a 1 is a little bit, because from a player, you kind of feel you haven't really learned anything on the next level. But I'm enjoying. It's actually quite nice to just be able to play in other people's games, which is why I'm liking. I like the Friday nights. Just constantly trying different things.
Well, that's awesome for you, right? Because you get to, like you said, you get to try all these games, and you're always a player. You still have the busy work of running the stream, but I think it works out.
Yeah. There's occasionally I miss things going on because I'm reading comments and trying to interact, but it's mostly
one of the
relaxing.
When you're talking about the hit points thing, one of the rules that I had done previously, I haven't done it in any of the Shadowdark games I'm doing though, is if they have a D8 and they roll a 1, I will usually let them take around, like the half of the die, so 4. Yeah. And that way your fighters tend to be a little more beefier than your wizards and your, that kind of thing.
Yeah. There's certain games that allow that. I can't think off the top of my head. It's you can either roll the die or take the average. And I've been reading, because I read too much at this moment in time. Can you ever read too much? You can't.
Everyone likes to gamble, though. I mean, I doubt many people take that half, that average roll.
I was at we had our national conferences over the last couple of days, so I ended up being in Coventry for a whole day on Tuesday, which, if anyone that knows me, I'm not a massive fan of leaving the house anymore. But they were talking about sales stuff, and it's a situation, if you win $1 million, or if you win 10 million and then lose 9 million, what's the worst feeling? Because the net result is you've still got $1 million.
Right.
But somehow, psychologically wise, if you add 10 million and then lose 9, even if it's the very next day and you've still got $1 million, that feels far worse.
Oh, yeah.
Just because where we are, we're gambling.
Because you could have, I do some crypto stuff, and you could have cashed out at that time, right?
Yeah.
And when you don't, you ride it all the way back down. It makes you feel like, why didn't I? But no one sees the future. So
you can't live like that.
Yeah.
But people do. So I have it with clients, because when I'm doing stuff with my day job, when we're trying to sort of time money out, and we'll get money out for clients, and they're going, oh, it's still carried on going up. And you're like, because you needed it today. Don't worry about what it is now, because You can't live like that, but people do. But I suppose it's because it's not my money. But then I treat my money like client money when I'm investing my money, and I completely take the emotion out of it. And once you take the emotion out of it, it's a lot easier to make money when you're doing stuff. So.
I used to be really emotional about when I first got into it, and it was, it was a roller coaster, right? But the thing is, it's like now I just see them as opportunities, and I'm like, oh, great, the price went down. I'm not looking to sell right now anyway, so it's perfect time to buy more.
Yeah, shovel it in. This is the argument you have, and the press doesn't help though. I don't know if your press is the same in America, but when the markets crash, they'll sit there and go, "Oh, people in pensions have lost billions," and you go, "No one's lost anything if they've not took it out." This is the time to shovel your money in.
And everyone on YouTube is all doom and gloom, right? They say the world is ending at all times just to get those clicks. So it's I mean. When you're inundated with all that negativity, it is what it is.
Yeah, this is not advice. I've got to caveat that. But when Donald Trump brings out stuff that crashes the market, I'm shoveling as much money in as I can because it's a very short-term blip. Again, not advice, not a recommendation.
Right.
But that's how you get your returns, because then his mates are going, well.
Right, when there's blood in the water, that's when you pounce.
Yep, you've got to. So let's get on to your book before I end up walking myself into trouble, because oddly, because of the regulated job I do, I had to get this channel authorized from my regulator, and I'm not allowed to discuss what I do for a living because it might be advertising.
Right.
So I haven't been advertising my day job. It's kind of ridiculous, though, isn't it?
It really things were simpler back in the day, right? So you didn't have to worry about any of that stuff, but now you have to worry about everything.
Yeah, back in the day when I could tell you, invest 10 grand with me, and I guarantee to give you 50. That was a better world. So, We Be Monsters. What was the motivation behind? Well, actually, do you want to sort of explain in your own words what this is? Let me just share it first.
What it is everyone that plays these role-playing games usually is the hero. They're doing the good thing. They're the guy that saves the princess. They're the guy that rescues that person or goes and defeats the dragon, that kind of thing. I wanted something that would flip that on its head. It would be more of be the bad guy, do the bad things, go and pillage the countryside and steal and ambush caravans and do all the bad things and be rewarded for it. So, I mean, you could do that in Shadowdark, right? But that gameplay is not focused on, I don't think.
It definitely skews to heroic play more than evil play, doesn't it?
Right. And in this game, you are kind of rewarded for doing like some savage things. Like during a live play, one of the characters died, and so he just made a duplicate character, which was the son of that guy, right? Yeah. And he shows up. What did he do? He took the head of his own father to bring back to his war chief as a proof that he's more worthy than his father was. It was just like, okay, immediately I gave him a luck point. It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
Just, you took your own father's head as a trophy. I love it.
Cool. So how's the play testing been going? Has it been going
good?
Right?
Good. Having fun with it. I did. You were talking about Rob and Helen and them yesterday. I did a play test for them and a friend of theirs. They were loving it. They had a good time and did some bad things. It was great.
No, that's cool, because you got Rob doing a load of the artwork now as well.
Yeah. He's a good find. He's a great guy. We chat often, actually.
Yeah.
So.
No.
I found him on your channel, by the way.
Yeah, he's the second artist that has found work from my channel and my Discord.
And there he is.
Here he is. So it is really good. He's almost around the corner from me as well. So he keeps wanting to tattoo me, but I haven't got the patience for it, and my mom won't allow it because I'm a 50-year-old man who's terrified of his mother.
Get it somewhere where your mother's not going to see it.
I'm the world's crappiest liar, though. And she comes round, and because my wife's covered in tattoos, and she's convinced I've got tattoos secretly. And
so you have to show her.
Yeah. She'll ask her. I feel like I'm going to get like on Christmas Day, like strip searched and have my mom check my whole body.
Yeah, I only have one that I got in my 20s. I mean,
Yeah.
I like tattoos. That's just I've just never could decide on what I want because it's like I couldn't commit because I know I'm gonna have it, and because I'm always thinking, well, I could get this. No, well, I don't know if I want that. I'll think about something else, and then I just never get it.
Yeah.
My
Change your
wife
mind
has a
too
ton of
easily.
them as well.
Yeah. Halfway through, go. No, I don't want that now. I'd rather have a snake,
Right.
please.
Yeah, that's me too.
So yeah, I'm not very good. I think I'd struggle to sit there. I was talking to Rob about it. Years ago I had a whole sleeve designed, so I'm ready to go once things happen. Which sounds really evil because she's my mom. But I don't know whether I could take like the 2 or 3 days just sat in a chair talking to someone. Because I don't know. I've got better things to do with my life.
Right. Well, I think sleep is overrated because it's like I could be doing something productive.
Yeah. When you look at those charts of this is how many weekends you've got left, and then they wipe a third out because you bother to go to sleep during your lifetime.
Right.
So yeah, that's quite. But the art in this, I just want to. Well, we're going to show the art as we go through the book.
Sure. Yeah.
You can. I'm really excited to play this because we don't get to play the sort of anti-hero other than I've been in here evil campaigns before,
right,
and I don't think evil campaigns work because most adventures are specifically written from a heroic point of view, so it feels harder for a games master. And I tend to find that most players actually they don't become evil, they just become dicks.
Yeah, I can see that.
If that makes sense. Where what this will be doing, is that better this there or there? Hold on.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Worse. That's fine.
Fine.
We'll go there. Where with this, because it's goal orientated and it's specifically written for it,
right?
It feels perfectly. It fits that perfect thing. Here goes Rob said.
Well,
do you think he talks to his customers? Right. I've just discovered a problem of us being down that one side.
Oh, because
covering
up a little bit.
Yeah. Let's chuck us back to the side.
That
works.
Let's
go over there. That's better.
See, like I remember playing the Weeby Goblins that I think was at Paizo they had years ago. It had a taste of what it could be, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to flesh it out more and to make it different than playing Shadowdark. My biggest goal is to make sure that this plays different. It's not just Shadowdark with a green, coloring on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make it where it feels different to play it. One of the things I wanted to do as well is just thank all the art. I don't see it enough in other other books. Like they like list the artists as in hey, these people did art kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I want to showcase them a little bit more, and then also this. Of course, this is not finished. The book is not finished, but we're about 80% there, easy. But I wanted to showcase the artists just in where you could find them, that kind of thing. So, because they do some hard work.
Yeah, they do.
They have a talent I don't have.
I was going to say, I thought this was really nice actually, because you don't see this, the fact that, you are going to put links up. So it should hopefully generate more work for them as well.
Right.
Apart from this stock art person here, he's not going to get much work.
Well, stock art is. I am going
to child
and get that as well, right? Dean Spencer, he does a lot of art. A lot of people use his art. Same thing with Rick Hersley, right? From Publisher's Choice. A lot of people use his art too. And the Forge Studio is another one that has a lot of good filler art. I have some filler art in here, but slowly I'm replacing most of it with custom work, and Rob's been a great help with all of that. And but I'm adding I'm kind of replacing it, but there's some stock art that that I just love it and I don't want to get rid of it.
No, don't. We'll see it as we go through the book. There's certain bits, like you say, that stock art, and you've got stock art written on it to remind. It's either to remind yourself or
yeah, it is. It's basically to remind myself that
yeah.
that I want to I'm going to have 3 to 4 artists, and then like stock artists where I get from like Drive Through or other sources, that have already been made and not custom made for the book.
Yeah. No. So page count, we're looking, what's that, 200 and
around 200-ish.
Yeah. So because there's a fair bit of blank pages in here as we go through it. Like you say, It's not finished. But do you think the page count's about right?
It is about right, because I wanted to do the layout before I where things were going before I put it in. I have a lot of stuff is already on like other documents that I have stored on my hard drive that I just kind of need to put over to the book and make it nice and neat. Yeah.
Cool. So using the book, okay, it's not hyperlinked yet. I'm sure it'll be hyperlinked. So, but
it will be. If you click on the page numbers at the bottom, it'll bring you back to the page table of contents right now. But all of it will be hyperlinked at the end. You don't see page numbers yet. It doesn't start till
I was like, I can't see
10.
any. I can't see any.
Yeah.
I've been sent a book. I'm not going to say who it was by a thing, and the art is amazing in the book, but it's full page art, and what that means is there's no page numbers through most of the book. It's kind of stupid, but anyway, right. I like this bit. Front and center. This is what's in the book. So we've got 2 new orc ancestors, 12 new backgrounds, 4 new classes, but there's other classes you can play as well in here.
Right.
36 spells, most of which are in here, but they are listed.
There are more that come.
Yeah, new monsters, new magic items, variety of hex crawls. So we've got 2 big hex crawl maps, haven't we? And they're double maps.
Well, the map of the valley is a double map. Like what you usually find in a curse scroll is, I think, about 16 by 12 or somewhere around there. Yeah. This is a total of 16 by 24 for the valley itself. And that is just the above ground map. There's also a subterranean map that is kind of like, you can't say, under dark really, but it is basically the deep tunnels that you would see below the earth.
Yeah. So is Kayla one of your playtesters then, I'm guessing?
Yeah, she is.
Cool. There we go. So, right. Let's... I'm on the wrong screen to move on. I'm not going to go through the stories, but this art is amazing. That's very sort of Slay Industries.
That's right.
Edition. I was going to say it looks like Rob stuff, but this is very much reminiscent of the... I can't think what they're called. The Ebon races with the sort of white eyes and the black thing. So we've then got contents.
I did the contents. I laid it out with page numbers so people can kind of see the structure of the book during this interview, just to get an idea of what's going to be in it. Some of these are not fleshed out. Like some of the things like additional loot tables are not filled out. They're mostly, like I said, in other documentation right now. They're just not ported over. Same thing with I only have some of the monsters in here, some of the spells, things like that.
And we've got page numbers on this page.
Yeah.
But this, the way I'm reading this so far, we're not going to need a copy of Shadowdark core rulebook.
I think you will. I don't want to cloud the book up with with all the things that have already been, done. Right.
Yeah.
Everyone that's going to play this is going to have Shadowdark. So there's really no need to, I think, to put all of that information in here. Now, this book does change a few things, the way luck points, luck tokens are used, or how light works, things like that.
Because you've got to stay away from the light, especially if you want to be a black orc. They don't like the light.
No, they do not.
I'm not going to spoil any of the lore parts, but obviously, if you want to sort of talk through,
it basically defines orc thought, how they govern themselves, and what they think is right and wrong, and what they think is moral, and what they basically with orcs, it's might is right. So they to conquer is to be right, and to do that, and to go forward. You know, I'm looking for my glasses. Oh, they're on my head.
They're on your head.
Okay. Yeah, getting old. All right. So basically the orcs just feel that if you can't keep it, then it's mine, kind of thing.
Yeah. So what was your inspiration from the orcs? Where did you kind of pull the background?
Tolkien is a big inspiration. I think 5e orcs and other like orcs and in current tabletop RPGs are just, they're dumbed down, and they just seem weaker. Like they don't seem like the bad guy anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
it's like and even in my games, I usually don't let players play goblins either, because I think goblins should be the bad guys. They're the the evil creature that steals babies in the night, kind of thing.
Yeah. While giggling and chuckling,
right?
They
always having a good old time with it.
Yeah, because you've got this is the bit that I was surprised and pleased about, and I don't mean pleased the slavery in here. What I mean is the fact that you're not willing to pull punches in how we envision they're going to be. So,
it can happen, right?
Yeah.
Slavery, and back in the day, that's what orcs did. They took people and they put them to work, or they did. I mean, just think of our history. You know, many of cultures have done this over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, it's not right, but it is a thing, right? It's still a thing to this day, you know. But unfortunately, so orcs will sometimes capture people, ransom them back to their own people for money, or keep them for slave labor or whatever, other things, like or even sacrifice them to evil gods. Who knows?
Yeah, and I like this as well, that the gender roles, that yes, the women are fierce and savage, and the men are mainly in for fighting, but it's kind of read in the way that you annoy one of the women, they're just going to poison you, because they are far smarter and manipulative than the men. So you're going to get, a complete gender differential, which is nice to see.
There's a location on the map that is orc settlement, and it's actually run by a female half orc, which killed her brother, a full orc, to take control. And everyone rumors that she poisoned him before the battle, kind of thing. So it's so they're smarter than you, so they're gonna win.
Yeah. See, I'm the idiot that when all my years of playing this, and when you think of half orcs, I never once thought that it came from something from an aggressive act. I was always in the impression that either an orc and a human fell in love and had a child.
Well, it could be both, right?
Yeah. But it's only when someone pointed out to me, that's really unlikely. I'm thinking, not necessarily. So it can happen without.
Well, and you also have half orcs making more half orcs.
Exactly. And then we've got. I'm guessing this is either placeholder English.
Yes.
Or,
this is filler text that you will see in I use Affinity. I tried doing, when I first started, I tried using like Word Publisher, things like that. It didn't have the oomph that I needed. So I bought Affinity and I started learning it. And it has the option of adding filler text. And some of this is filler text just to make, just to show what the layout's going to be.
Yeah.
But basically, what life like is in the tribe. And then there's orcs, in my opinion, are very superstitious. So, and I actually have a table in here, a D100 table of the crazy things that orcs think that are real, right? Don't step on a crack, you break your mother's back, kind of thing, you learn. But so orcs have some strange ideas about what is real and what's not.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I was reading it, initially going, because some of it's is actually in English.
Did you think your dyslexia popped in when you got to the fake words?
That was my initial. I was like, right, it's what's going on here? Because by accident, some of them are actually real words.
I didn't mean to troll you.
As you go through it, and I became like, okay, let's see if I can work out what this is. I was like, maybe you've done it all in a different language, and then you just
tongues.
You're translating it back. But yeah, it was quite good. So checklist. This is going to give us our basic character creation.
Right. So, and I just thought it. I think it was Chubby that did one in his book, and I was like, that is such a good idea, just to make a quick checklist for, simplify, making a character.
Yeah. To me, it's really important, especially as a dyslexic, because I consume information probably slightly different. Because if you give me like this and this, I kind of panic over the words that are in there. It's laid out nicely, but if I've got this, I've got a visualization in my head of exactly what's coming up over the next few pages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of teased what I need to know, so I can then break it down to go, actually, it's only 9 things. So all of these pages coming up are really only 9 things that I need to focus on. So yeah, it's and I'm sure other people think very much the same when you're sort of sorting out. But this is what made me think that maybe we don't need Shadowdark. I'm not saying, like you say, everyone that's buying this is going to already own Shadowdark.
Yeah, they're going to own it. So. I mean, you're going to want to reference Shadowdark. I mean, I even use some of the spells in this book from the Shadowdark book. That because with the third-party license, you can use the spells in the monsters, and some of the spells, it's like, why duplicate something if it's already there, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Steal what you can within, not, what I mean.
borrow.
So borrow. That's the one. So yeah, so everything is going to feel very familiar on this. So we've got the 3 ancestors. The orc is the standard orc. So that should be very familiar. The half orc,
and then the black orc,
mighty, and then the fun black orc, which I hated black orcs in Blood Bowl. They really bloody annoyed me, starting with that +4 strength, they were a little bit slower.
Well, I wanted to make them tougher, but also have that weakness of, they're the underground orcs. Those are the subterranean ones that live in the deep tunnels and things like that. So they don't like sunlight. But they're tougher than the surface dwelling orcs.
Yeah. And
so, that's a good thing. Now, orcs, the rage, I changed it up a little bit. I made it so while raging, your damage dice explode, because that is such a cool rule, and I'm looking forward to trying it out tomorrow with Atomic Shadows.
Yeah.
But but it's only while raging, right? It gives them that extra oomph.
I missed that. And that's before we went on camera, we were talking about exploding dice, and you went, actually, I know it. And then you went, no, I'll tell you in a minute.
Yeah, and that's the thing I was trying not to say before the interview to spoil it.
Yeah, because I missed that when I was reading through, because I miss things when I read. None of them are darkness adapted, which is quite cool.
Well, no, they are darkness adapted, actually.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, if you go in the light section, you'll see dark adapted.
Oh, okay.
And then there's rules on. Like I said, I wanted the game to play differently than Shadowdark, so they are dark adapted. And when you're going against, say, crawlers or humans, you could use that ability, that light, to use it to your advantage, right?
Okay, no, that's cool. That's going to play really well then, because obviously the orc and half orc are the ones that people are going to go, maybe, and the black orc is what people are going to want to play because they get the extra hit points rolling on advantage. But
it's all fun and games till someone shows up next to you with a torch in hand, and you can't, and you get disadvantage on everything.
Yeah, because you are blinded in a bright light. So that's going to make people think a little bit harder against going down that black orc route.
I haven't had many people choose black orc.
I can think of several people in my groups that only want to play black orcs.
Well, they probably will, right? But that's also the GM's job to make sure that they regret it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm screwing them up every time they see a light. So So that's cool. Because I've got a pathological hatred of black orcs because of coming up against orcs on Blood Bowl. They were just.
And then I thought a randomizer for
bastards.
the ancestry would be nice too, just in case someone wanted to roll.
Yeah. Obviously, standard classes. So we've got 4 new classes in this book, haven't we?
Yes.
And then obviously you then saying the other classes that you're happy with.
Ooh, that I think would be a good, easy fit.
Yeah.
Of course, if you wanted to play an orc wizard, you can. It's that note there is for the GM to just think about, orcs are more tribal. They have less access to schools and, things like that. So they wouldn't really have the formal training that other classes might need.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So first new class we've got is the Baneborn. So these are like runic caster, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like they deal with curses and affecting enemies, with harmful effects mostly.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing. We'll look at their spells really, because obviously they're immune to their own curses. Well, immune to anyone else's curses.
Any curses,
which is quite cool.
So if they find a cursed weapon, they can get the benefit of it and not have to worry about the curse of it. But there is an issue with the Baneborn. If they mishap on one of their spells, they may lose that hexproof ability for a short time, which means that if you have 7 cursed items, all 7 take effect immediately.
Yeah.
So that could be bad.
Yeah, keeps them down. The archetypical, I'm going to say, chieftain that you'd expect.
He's the leader orc.
To see. Yeah. So all weapons, all shields, all armor, D8 hit points, your standard fighter, but then bloodthirsty, +1 attack and +1 damage.
With melee weapons. And that goes up as they scale level. Yeah. And then Savage Authority is they get advantage on charisma checks to lead other greenskins and allies. And War Leader, they inspire their peons to do better in battle, like better chance to hit. They give them +1 to hit in battle, and that can go up with the talents as well.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that they get in talents as well is the ability to get their Orc Rage ability multiple times a day.
Yeah, and that's quite actually 3 to 6. It's going to come up a little bit more often, isn't it? So
right. So at higher levels, they might be able to rage multiple times.
Yeah. And we got the Hellbinder, which is another. This is like I've just noticed that's a D6 hit points on an almost full.
Well, it's more akin to a priest.
Yeah.
But they revere demons instead, like demon lords. They get spell casting. They get a familiar, kind of like a witch does, but it's a quasit, a little demon. They also get a little bonus from their demon lord based on what demon lord they choose, and they get spell casting. I'll tell you from right now, they're my favorite class. I love them. I want to play them in a game.
Yeah, I'd missed that they. Well, obviously, I didn't spend a huge amount of time in the spells. I hadn't actually twigged they were a priest class because all I noticed was the charisma and the familiar, and I was thinking actually these look a bit warlocky.
They're kind of a mix. Yeah, they're kind of a mix.
But what about blessed weapons? We've got a question here. I'm guessing that's back to the cursed.
Well, they just have hexproof. If you're talking about the Banebinder, they have, or the Baneborn, they have hexproof, which just means that they are not affected by curses.
Yeah,
they blessings will still work on them. Yeah, it's exclusively curses. They don't get the ill effect of curses. So if, say, a weapon that they find has a benefit of being able to do extra criticals and it peels your skin off at midnight, whatever, their skin will stay on at midnight, but they'll still get that extra critical.
Cool. I like spell casting on charisma. I don't know why, because I know you can't really have dump stats in this, but I think we all have that.
Yeah, and I wanted it to be more of where it's like a negotiation with the demon that gives them their power.
Yeah. Cool. And then we've got finally the Stalker, so which is sort of wilderness survivor thief, but comes with loads of poisons and stuff. Which is
it's kind of a cross between a thief and a ranger, but instead of herbalism, he does poisons.
Yeah.
He could make a certain amount of them a day, and use them throughout the day, and he can get more of them as he levels, or make the the DC of the con roll from whoever he hits with them higher, that kind of thing. So they're fun too. They're fun.
Yeah, and they get ambush. So extra damage. Titles. I always like it when people put titles in. Always the hardest bit. I'm always told by everyone that has to come up with titles. It's difficult to come up with them.
You notice that there's only chaotic titles.
Yeah. Because you managed to get it. You've got it easy on this, haven't you? Because
no, I mean, I had to think about it, but that's one of the stock art that I love, because it goes with what I put to the side of it really well. There are no lawful or neutral options for orc titles. You know what they call lawful or neutral orcs? Weak. Then they disembowel you and place your head on a spike. I love it. It just fits well with that.
Yeah, no, cool. And then we've got going into religion and variety of gods in here.
Yeah, basically it's the chaotic gods, and then you'll see the demon lords as well. And then the boons that the Hellbinder gets by what demon lord that they worship.
Okay, cool. I like Orcus. He's in one of the big 5e campaigns. And he's a beast to try and take down. Names are always good. It's always difficult, but you've actually built into this building clans and stuff as well, which I kind of like, because not only you get the name of the clans, but then as we go through the book, you'll get the sort of size of clans as well, which is always something you don't really think.
Like a warband,
about. Yeah. And then the last bit of character creation was the trinket, wasn't it? I think, if I remember, that's the way it goes.
A little bauble that you have with you that you could do whatever you want with.
69 to 70, you get a tattoo kit here for Rob. Because
I love the shrunken goblin head, the mummified monkey paw. Just little crazy little things that they might hold on to.
Necklace of Alf ears, very much like the Cyborg movie.
Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren's character, wasn't he? Just collected ears.
Oh yeah.
So this is the warband bit that I was talking about.
Well, they have crawler party, like generations. So the warband name kind of fits that. The warband would have a name for their warband.
Yeah.
And then maybe like what they're known for, that kind of thing.
I think Rob's still sad that he died.
Yes, his character died in the playtest. Yeah.
Should have done better. That's what we say. He let the orc side down, and then we're going to get some rumors. So this is obviously for getting adventures going.
Right. There's obviously it's a work in progress. Just different things that orcs would hear in about different settlements, that kind of thing, or maybe a small camp. Maybe a camp of 30 orcs or whatever, you might hear something and go out and go explore.
Yeah, and we got 50 of them? 51.
Yeah, the typical Shadowdark encounter tables, where they have like a 51 results.
Yeah, and then the superstitions, which you talked about, so we're slowly filling out this one as well.
Yeah. And this is just crazy stuff that they think of.
Walking into a spider web brings good luck and love. Oh, who'd have thought that orcs fall in love, eh?
And then I thought this was a neat addition, was for ambushing like caravans on roads, things like that. What kind of caravan is it? Where's it going? Is there any secret to the caravan? Like, is it holding a massive treasure, or things like that?
Yeah, you showed me this art a while back as well, didn't you?
Yeah, this one. This was done. One of the first artists that I found, and Christopher Castillo. He's amazing too, and he's so detailed. I love some of his work. It's just amazing.
So when you're working with the artists, have they got this book, and then you're giving
No,
them the art to work to, or they
I
just
just tell them what
send
I'm
you art?
looking for,
Yeah,
and they go from there. Like I just had him do some spell effects to add to the spell section. And he just got them to me yesterday, so I had to finish the book up, or I think it was day before yesterday. So I just had to put them in and move some spells around, so I can get you a copy of the book, so you can review it before this.
yeah. I find it weird. Art's like magic to me because I don't know how it works because I
Right, me
can't.
neither.
I can see what I want to draw, but my hand doesn't do what my brain thinks. Do you know what I mean? And my wife does art. My eldest daughter does art, and I just
And my wife's an artist as well. She
yeah,
paints, and yeah,
I can't.
I couldn't do it to save my life.
No, I always annoy her because I'll go like anyone can do art, which they can. Not everyone can do good art.
I could do stick people, and they won't be particularly good.
Yeah, I'm just terrible at it. I am. It's annoying. Adventure generators, which again, this is just going to add more to the longevity of things. I love this one. This is this one of Rob's?
Yes,
Because
that is.
that just screams of tattoo.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
wanted.
I'd have that across my back.
You're gonna get that a little tramp stamp on the back.
No, the top of my shoulders.
Oh, the top.
Okay. Yeah.
If you really want to commit, you got to get it down in lower back.
My house doesn't have wheels.
Yeah, I wanted something for the title pages that was different than. I didn't want to use stock art, and then I wanted something that was different than what everyone else is kind of using. So
yeah,
he did that up for me. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's it. I wonder if you'll let me do it for free. Don't tell my mom. Spellcasting. This is pretty standard. Other than, is it just going to be the one spellcaster that's
just the Hellbinders? Yes, the Baneborn are miscast like a wizard, but the Hellbinders are penance like the priest.
Yeah. Should have guessed that when I worked it out.
If you look at number 5 on the Hellbinder penance, what you have to do to get your spell back.
You must sacrifice a good friend or a loved one to your demon lord, sending their soul to hell. That's going to make the party smaller.
It's a 5th level spell. It's like you gotta sacrifice. Got to break a few eggs.
Yeah.
To get it back.
Yeah, you're gonna have people in the party just breaking friends with you, aren't you? When you get to that level, like, oh no, I don't like you anymore. Not this week. Not this week. Because people get attached to even in Shadowdark, people get attached to their characters.
Yeah.
So
they do.
Yeah, mishap tables. Nice to see D12s and the 1 to 3, 4 to 5, which is cool. This is what I was saying about the placeholder. I like this art.
Yeah, that's publisher's choice. Rick Hersey. He's really good. Like I said though, I want to try to do as much custom art that I commission as possible. Yeah. That's why I'm I'm putting placeholders. Now I might go with stock art, but it was all stock art when I first started, but as I'm getting more and more art, I'm filling it up.
Yeah, if you hadn't put placeholder there, I wouldn't have known.
So right, exactly.
So that's good.
So the only thing I changed on like scrolls and wands is I gave them a little more of a savage kind of theme, which is like they put their scrolls on animal skins and they don't use fancy wooden wands or metal wands. They use bones and things like teeth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And totems I thought were just something that they really don't have a lot of or mention a lot, is like one time a day that anybody can use, not just wizards or spellcasters. Like if it can shoot a ray out, one person, like a fighter would be able to use it, but it's only once a day or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get spells, and then so this is the bit that I noticed that obviously more spells are going to come. So you've kind of picked your number of spells, and then you're going to work the spells around it. Which I'd have gone, oh, I've got 7, that'll do.
Well, I wanted to give some like 8 of the first three levels for the Baneborn, and then I thought 6 of 4 and 5 would be plenty, because once you get up to those levels, that you're not going to be getting as many of those spells anyway.
Yeah.
But tried to make them, and like I said, some spells are from the Shadowdark book, like Sleep, Confusion, and Hold Monster. But other than that, most of them are custom.
So we'll pick on a few as we go through. So you've done the same then with the Spellbinders. So correct. 8, 8, 8, 6, and 6. So I like the acidic bile. I think the image really helps as well to
that's the one
direct you back in. Sorry,
that was the art that just came in the other day. And I wanted to get in there.
Yeah. So I like acidic damage. It's quite good that it carries on going. It's got that.
Yeah, instead of focus, that one it continues on its own as it burns them, and it would be up to the GM if they wanted to let them, like, say they jumped into water, maybe it would dilute it so that they don't keep burning, that kind of thing. But
have you got any mad spells in here? I've recently did a review, and it's not going out yet, and I'm going to kind of spoil it. I bought a book that. It was the first Shadowdark book that they've done, and they've got a level 1 spell called Toad, and you look at someone and you turn them into a toad for 6 rounds. It's a level 1 spell. There's no spell restriction on it, and I was like, this is one of the most powerful spells I've ever seen.
Yeah, I tried to make them balanced. I tried to make them balanced, and in fact, there was one spell during the playtest with Rob and Helen that I was like, okay, that's too powerful. I have to lower that. I have to fix that. And that was Ignite. So Ignite was where it did go back. Yeah. It did 2d6 damage. So I lowered it down to 1d6, and it sets them on fire. Because I like that it's an ongoing thing, right? Not just like a poof and it's done.
Yeah, because 2d6 damage, that's taken out 3rd and 4th level characters pretty much can be quite easily,
right?
Isn't it?
But like setting someone on fire, at least they have a chance. They can roll around.
Yeah.
They can try to die themselves out.
Yeah. I think we forget though, don't we? Because you were saying earlier that you're still playing 5e, so it's quite a balance to get the spells right, because you can have even a 5th level character can even only have 10, maybe 15 hit points.
True, right?
Just the way things go.
And like some of these spells might get revisions down the road still, right? As more playtesting gets done. And I'm constantly changing, stuff. As soon as I figure out if it needs to be adjusted, I adjust it.
Yeah.
I do all of the stuff in Affinity. So once I have it done on paper, I then move it over to Affinity, and it's kind of locked in there, and I just move it around at that point and change it up as I need to.
Yeah, I love summon spells. They're some of my favorite spells in games. It just breaks that action economy, you can just bring something out in the party.
I'm adding more demons than just like the Dretch. Like the Dretch is like a low-level demon. I'm adding more demons, so I might switch that spell out from summon Dretch to like summon like, I don't know, like underling or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lesser demon or whatever, and then have it to where you can summon different types, not just the one.
Ooh, Vampiric Touch. You drain the life force from one target you touch, deal 2d6 damage, and gain that amount of hit points back to half damage dealt. Round up.
You get half the amount.
Yeah.
So if you do 7 points, you get 3 added to your own.
Yeah. No, they're nice little spells, those are, because again, they just really sort of break a combat a little bit if you can pull them off.
Yeah, there's another one that one of the spells I like called Leech. By it's a Baneborn spell, and these are all in alphabetical order. So, I forgot.
I quite clearly forgot my alphabet then.
It steals con from them and adds it to you.
Yeah,
for which is interesting.
And it's okay. They fade away 1 point per day.
Right.
Wow.
So I mean, if you're sitting there basically just sucking their blood and taking it into yourself.
Yeah. But that's cool, because when they're range south, it's quite a balancer, because it means you've got to go and stand at the front and actually engage, and you can't run away, because you can run technically 30 foot. Right. We're meant to say near, but it's they're going 30 foot, you're going 30 foot, so it's
yeah. When I'm running, I try to be a little flexible with that. Like 40 sometimes. If there's no obstructions at all.
And then we've got Wall of Fire, which is cool. Fire walls are always good. Wings of the Balor, is this going to give you the flight one? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gives you wings and a claw attack.
Oh, and a claw attack. Nice. So you can become Man-Bat.
Yes. Well, you're still an orc.
Yeah, but Orc Bat. Man, yeah, that's right, isn't it? Orc Bat, not the right way around. And then we're going to get into sort of the adventure and obviously things to come. But I want to show the Hex Crawl map.
Yeah, it's a double map.
It's a big map, and you got like a 3-way location here as well, which is cool.
Yeah,
you don't see many of those. Yeah, you don't see many of those.
And so the map itself is kind of, I did it in Incarnate to get a layout of what I wanted. It still needs to go to an artist and have them fancy it up and make it look all nice, but there are areas here with the question marks because I don't know what's there yet, right? I know sort of what it is, but
is there a starting location, or is this going to be one just people can?
Well, there's a couple orc settlements on the map, but you could be from just an orc camp somewhere. You could be from like an orc camp that has 30 orcs in it that's way down in the swamp somewhere or whatever.
Cool. So I'm gonna scroll through this. I'm gonna show the art quickly and then move through some of these unique locations, because I don't think people need to see.
Now, most of these are stock art, except that tower one there. Rob did that one.
I was going to say that's Rob. I can now look at it and go, that Rob did that. I did that. So so he's got a style, hasn't he? That's that's a cool looking pig orky type thing. And
the way I'm doing it is the black orcs are the more pig-like orcs, more pig-like than the surface dweller orcs. And the lore behind that is more of, well, the surface dwelling orcs were tainted long ago by other lineages of other people, which made them less pig-like. But, these are like the true what Ramlat wanted, kind of thing.
No,
subterranean.
I know why they've got more piggy noses.
Why is that?
Well, before they become dark, adapted, they lived underground and they kept running into the walls. Hence the reason.
And just flattened it.
Yeah. Thousands of years of walking into the walls before they learned to see in the dark.
Yeah, that could explain it.
Because people would be delighted if that was the answer.
So I wanted to explain this map a little bit. Yeah. So this is basically like the Underdark, or the dark depths, as I'm calling them, and each of these are 6 mile hexes. So this is the valley, but underground. So you'll see several locations where you can actually go into the Underdark that are labeled. There's another one just over down by the Black Orcs. There's a sinkhole that also leads down there. But those are like where entrances down. But while you're down there, these are not just the only tunnels. You could as a GM, you could just make side tunnels go in anywhere you want, but I'm also going to be drilling down for 1 or 2 of these locations. If you go to the next page, it shows like just kind of how drilling down to that 6 mile hex down to 1 mile hexes. So to give you a more dug in view of what might be within that 6 mile hex.
Right. Okay. Cool. So,
and of course, it's still a work in progress as well.
Yeah. So these are obviously going to be the above ground off the main hex crawl.
Right. Yeah. Like
they're going to sort of, and then you're going to come. That's really cool. That's a really good
so
idea.
like,
if
you compared the numbers to the other map, you'll see where those locations are, right?
Yeah.
Like, was it 505 or whatever it is? Yeah, 505 is a goblin warren. So those caves delve deep enough to go into the dark depths.
Yeah. Cool. I haven't seen one of those for a while. So, and then we've got, so this is obviously just additional.
Yeah. Now these are tables that are going to be for different regions on that map, and the subterranean map, that it will have their own encounter tables. You could use Shadowdark encounter tables, or you could use these. I just wanted to give more options.
And then we've got an example of a few of the monsters and creatures that are in here.
Yeah. Like the black orc I added in there. There's the Kushi, the elven dogs, a different type of demon, frightening spirit, which was in one of my other little supplements that I have on drive-through. And the Quasit, obviously you need that for the Hellbinders.
Yeah.
As they're familiar.
That's the familiar, yeah.
And then there'll be more of these as well.
Yeah. No, cool. And then into the rules. So in this bit, then we should have the dark adapted rules. Then I'm guessing, is that where?
Yeah, it'll be in the light section. But like in here, you are rewarded for taking prisoners, either be it ransom, slavery, whatever the case may be. But I wanted to add like a mode to where, but the way treasure works, if you're part of a community, is you have to share that treasure with the tribe. So basically the war chief demands like half of everything that you bring back. So based on that, you can try to alleviate some of that burden by just slaughtering the people that you capture. So it takes away the gold, but you get the experience instead. You're basically trading experience for gold at that point.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to have new carousing rules, or is that
yes.
Yeah.
It works differently than the normal carousing rules.
Okay, cool. So you said there was a change to the luck tokens as well.
Yes. Luck tokens, basically you don't get it for heroic deeds. You get it for bad things. You get it for like doing betrayal and just trickery and backstabbing and all kinds of, or just like really savage or brutal stuff. And when you roll a nat 20, basically it's like Ramlot, the evil god, is just shining down on you, right? He gives you favor. So he gives you a luck token if you roll a nat 20. If you roll a nat 1, you cannot use a luck token to re-roll it. It sticks.
Yeah.
So basically what it does is he doesn't suffer fools. So, he basically says, nope, you deal with that mess you just made, kind of thing.
Yeah, cool. And I was just reading the light rules. So you're basically twisting the game on itself now, because everything else won't be light adapted. You're going to be able to sort of target for ambush and stuff, aren't you?
There will be. You'll still encounter things that are lighter.
If you're going to be attacking a human-centric world,
correct.
Then or if they're coming to try and attack you, then you're
correct. Right, they will be needing light, and this is kind of, you can turn the tables on them by dousing their lights. Things like that. Now, orcs, the way I changed the light a little bit, since you're playing dark adapted creatures and there's really no rules for it yet, to where you can see well enough to function. Just you can't do really fine detail work. You can't write in your journal or read or craft, things like that. Like, you still need light for certain things, but you wouldn't need light for just to move around in dark caves, kind of thing.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, this is XP. Is that going to get the carousing? So this is the carousing rules.
This is the carousing. Yeah. So when you come back with say 700 gold worth of goods, and you give the 350 of it to the war chief, you now had 350 worth of gold that was the tribe share, that basically a celebration is thrown in your honor. So you would qualify for the 250 mark, which would be +2. Now, if you had gathered any trophies while raiding or doing what you were doing, maybe the head of the high priest, or maybe a worthy holy relic or whatever, and you gave that to the war chief, you can get bumps up 1, 2, or 3 steps. Basically, the only way you can get +4, 5, or 6 is if you brought trophies back and a lot of gold.
Right. Okay.
But you are basically rewarded with a party every time you come back.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's the encouragement to go out,
right?
Sort of get the treasures and get the trophies and stuff, isn't it? So, and come back with them.
Right. And this just defines how orcs think of treasure, and then the whole captives system. Slavery, put them to work, or ransoming them back, and then what the gold piece value of different level of captives could be, and their XP value if you choose to go with the savage, mode, and just slaughter them.
Is there another mode?
If you go back under the rules,
no, you don't.
Savage
XP only. XP only. That's what I think.
Right. Well, and then there's going to be all these other. I wanted to add basically more alternate treasure lists, that not the normal stuff you find in a dungeon, more things that you would find in a human-centric world.
Yeah.
Like if you're raiding a caravan, you might find, some trade goods worth this, or you might find, a suit of finely crafted chainmail that was on its way to a merchant was bringing it to a customer, or things like that. So it'll be more things that, you would not find in, that wouldn't be found in a deep dungeon, but actually out in the surface world among civilized folk. And then I just upped it to, kind of the name of them are for the different levels, 0 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and 10 plus.
Cool.
And War Chief Favor is also going to be like boons kind of thing, where a War Chief could award you something based on your actions, right? He might give you some orc peons to put in your warband, some cannon fodder to throw in the front of the battle, let them soak up some hits before you get in there, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And then demonic gifts would be from demon lords, maybe a blessing, but from a dark place.
Cool. Then we get some magic items as well in here.
There'll be more.
So and then this is so you are getting
don't show that.
No. I remember we said right. So
well, no, it's that is just a placeholder for some of the stuff. Let me see if there's any.
Do orcs eat their captives? Yes, and you get XP for doing so. Is that right?
1 second, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So there also, let me see if there's anything at the end of the book that you might want to show.
That is correct. Meat is back on the menu, boys.
So then there's also if you go to page like player resources, which is what 193. That's after the adventure stuff.
So we've got player facing hex crawls.
Yeah, and this is like basically like player resources. So just maps without the location. There'll be other player maps and handouts in here as well. And then the story continues, and then there's a character sheet that it'll probably get revised, but it will, it's I got a form fillable one I made too as well of this, but it needs some tweaking because I wanted to add like warband name and things like that on there as well.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. My printer's going to hate it.
Yes, that was one of the things I was told is the people that are stingy with their ink are not going to like it.
Yeah.
So we might need to get rid of some of the black. We'll see.
Well, the thing is, all you need to do is do a separate one. Do have this beautiful one, and then just have another basic one.
Well, there's going to be
with like a print friendly one. That's the way I would do it. I think it's a beautiful character sheet.
It's amazing.
But I'm going to make all my players print it off themselves.
Rob's my go-to guy now. He's like, like I was looking at a skull for the hit points. He put it in as a heart. It was awesome. I was like, that's perfect.
Then no, it's all right. I tried going in.
You can't zoom in?
Actually, I might, if I go a single page, would that do it? No, it's all gone wrong now. There we go. I'm not a complete buffoon. That's better.
There we go. Yeah.
It is stunning.
So yeah, there's like some of the the area with the attributes. It's probably too big, and then we'll probably make that smaller to add more room for like talents and attacks and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to add like warband name and some other things like that as well to add a little flavor to it. And the only alignment that's allowed is chaos.
Yeah, so you don't really need it, do you?
Well, it's just it needs to say that right there.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, top right. Yeah, because I was thinking actually it's not in here, so it's here, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah.
And so yeah, there's still a lot of stuff to be added to it. There's other like things that like I said, I'm still adding, and like a lot of stuff is still on Word documents and things like that need to be transferred over.
Yeah. So where are we from a time frame point of view? So I assume crowdfunding. When are you hoping to go live on crowdfunding?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still doing the business stuff and the like the artwork and like trying to figure all that out before I really get it. But I'm hoping January, February, at least pre-launch by then.
Yeah.
And then hopefully pre-launch will be before that even. Like where I'll have a Kickstarter page up, but and then it will. Then we'll see how long it needs to percolate before we actually throw it out. And what I plan to do is on the Kickstarter do where you could just get the PDF if you want. The Kickstarter will have offset printing with the ribbon and all that. So it'd be a nice book. And then after the Kickstarter's done, the only way, unless we do another printing of it, the only way you'd get it is print on demand, probably from drive-through.
That's good though. At least then people like me can pick it up from a print on demand.
Right, but if you wanted a good, like the
really nice
copy,
you would want to go
to Kickstarter.
It's the problem that we get is I can pay twice as much as the value of the book by the time I pay shipping and duties in this country.
Right,
which is really, really annoying at this moment in time. So, and I don't see it getting any better.
No, I don't think it's going to either.
But then saying that, we like to grumble, but if I had to go and fly something halfway around the world to send it to my poxy little island, then it'd be the same. Do you know what I mean? We appreciate it's just not cheap to send stuff across. Go on.
Go ahead. No, sorry. So some of the other things that I'm looking to do is some of the locations, I'm going to be doing like some one-page dungeons of them.
Yeah.
Obviously in like a Curse Scrolls format, it just gives you a little bit of information about location 1202 is this, and it's just a little bit of a blurb. But I wanted to do like maybe some one-page dungeons for some of those locations to put a map with it and, maybe some little bit more detail. So I'm not sure how many of those I'm going to be doing yet. And another plan is a full-blown module based on one or two of the locations in there as well. Like that tower that Rob drew, it's basically like a mega dungeon. So I wanted to do an actual separate book on that, separate, maybe a zine type size.
Yeah.
For that one.
So is that Rob's fault for drawing the tower, or did you?
No, I
have his
wanted the tower. I
initially
told
and
him.
then- yeah,
I told him I wanted a tower, and he did a good job with that.
Yeah, I love the thought of an artist sending you something in,
And now I'm stuck with it, right?
And then you go, "That's really good." Now I've got to do a whole adventure based around it because. So yeah.
No, I had kind of planned that anyway, and I'd like to do the same for the Underdark. I don't think we have Shadowdark really does it. I mean, Curse Scrolls 5 is going to have some Underdark kind of stuff, which is going to be nice. But I don't think we have any full-fledged like modules based down there, which would be kind of cool.
No. Do you know what it reminds me of? These ridiculous beasts, and I say ridiculous in the fondest of ways.
Yeah, I got those. I did not realize they were like this thick. Yeah. I got them, and I was like, "What the hell is this heavy box?" Because both of them came at once. And when I got them, my wife's like, "What was that in that box? It was heavy." So I'm like, "Oh my God, it's the books!" And I took them out, and they're like ginormous.
Yeah, but one is the above ground. And book 2 is all of the Underdark. And then 3 is going to be the big mega dungeon tower. So what you now need is you make your big tower, and then you will have a far more smaller version than that.
It's going to be smaller than that. It's going to be like, I think they'll be like, the modules will be like zine size, right? They'll be like the Curse Scroll size. And of course, when this does get released, there'll be all the digital assets. And
are you going to provide that with a Kickstarter as well?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to give as much as I can out, right? And I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm one of Rob's friends that was in the game. He did some music for me for the live play because I couldn't. I was just talking to him about not being able to use the music during the live play, just even if it's just in the background, like really low. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'll make you some orc music." So he made me awesome orc music, which, we could have kind of at a minimal level in the background,
Yeah, fantastic.
Just to give it a little more theme.
So
it's royalty free.
Yeah. So we're running this as a one shot on the 31st.
Correct. Halloween.
So, yeah.
I'm dressing up. Are you dressing up?
Am I going to green my face up? Is that what you're saying?
I'm going green face, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna have to now.
All right,
because I'm gonna be.
I think we should encourage everyone to do it.
Yeah, I'll be the only one with a pasty white face.
We should encourage everyone that signs up.
So, well, actually, we're going to throw it out on the Discord. It will go out this Sunday, I think. The call for players. The call for players, and I'm just going to put that in the description. Is the fact that if you want to be on it, you've got a green face because it is the Halloween special.
It is a Halloween. We have to embrace it.
Yeah, I think that's fallen perfectly. And we've done it by accident, haven't we? I think.
And the scenario you guys are going through has got a spooky theme.
Okay, we're just going. It's going to be really bad.
How do you scare orcs? Right?
Yeah. Apparently, I can be an albino orc. It's not my fault we don't get any sun over here, god damn it.
The opposite, the albino black orc.
Yeah. And I'll be drawn to the light and be scared.
No, because you'll just like burn up.
Yeah. So I normally ask what have you got coming from in here. So because you've done an awful lot of additional. I think I did say right at the start that anyone that's on my Patreon. Dean is the person that's providing all the free sort of Shadowdark content for the next, I think, 6 months. You've sent me 6 so I've put them out over monthlies as well. So you can get a lot more little like mini adventures.
Yeah, those were like little supplements like carousing tables or thematic or theme encounter tables like the Haunted Forest or a Cursed Keep. Or the Feywilds, that kind of thing. I wanted to. I had a bunch of stuff kind of already written up, and I keep everything. So I was just like, well, I could use some of this stuff, and I used it as kind of a practice. Like all of those, they're just maybe 4 pages to 8 pages. Some of them just with tables and things like that. and I wanted to just share them with people, right? So that's why I kind of put it out there. So those I thought were practice, and they gave me the bug, right, to do this book. So, I mean, realistically, I haven't been doing this too long, like the actual working on publishing. It's only been 3 to 4 months now. It's just that I was between projects for work, so I had a lot of time. So I just was churning stuff out.
Yeah, I really dislike humans. I'm going to create a game where I can murder humans.
That's right.
Reward for it.
Right.
So
lay me off from that job. Now I'll get my revenge.
Yeah. Bad bosses. That's what it is. That's the inspiration for it.
Yeah, the next book will be about corporate espionage and taking out your bosses.
Oh, I saw something on TTRPG yesterday, and it's a Shadowdark themed where you play people in an office, and the classes are like an accountant and stuff. And I was looking again, is this real? And I was like, I've put it in my wish list because I'm that intrigued that I probably will add it at the end of my month when, because obviously anyone that uses my affiliate link, I then just go and buy things on TTRPG to reward other creators, but give me other things to review on the channel. So I might just pick that up because I was like, this is like the most bizarre theme I've seen, but it could be really good.
Well, I set my bookmark. I had just drive-through bookmark, but I reset it as your affiliate link. So now anything I buy on there, and I buy everything.
Fantastic.
anything I buy, you're getting credit for.
Yeah, but, that's what everyone should do. Everyone should
do that, right? You go out there and
it's bizarre. I get quite sort of obsessed with it because I'll look and I'll go, and then because it actually it doesn't tell me who's bought what, which is kind of annoying because I'd love to be able to thank everyone that uses my link. So obviously, thank you for using my link. But there's some really bizarre stuff on because I didn't give the most favorable review of Daggerheart. And my affiliate link has still sold several copies of Daggerheart.
It tells you what they're buying.
It tells you what they're buying,
but not who's buying it.
But not who's buying it. Yeah, so
that really weird thing, it wasn't me. Just saying.
There is some really strange stuff pops up, and I'll go, that's got nothing. But what I actually amazes me, and it just shows how like kind people are, is there's books I've never reviewed, I've never heard of, that people clearly use my affiliate link to get to it, to then just go and buy something to help the channel out, which is so nice.
Right. Well, yeah. Your affiliate link's there. Like I said, I just set my bookmark to it. So now it doesn't cost me any more money.
No.
I mean, and you get the benefit out of it. Why the hell not? Right. Yeah. And like I said, I go on there and I buy everything. Like if you're reviewing it, I have to kind of force myself not to buy some things because since I'm one of your Patreons, I get some stuff for free anyway. So I got to be careful. And, it's like when you give away stuff, I'm like, damn it, I already got that. I already bought it.
Wasted it. But yeah, it is really weird that, the whole idea of my channel was to just talk about stuff. And I wonder if anyone will ever send me anything. And now my hobby's becoming, it's kind of paying for itself for the first time ever. People are so nice. They really are.
There's, like I said, there's a lack of Shadowdark content creators. I mean, there's not a lot, a handful, right? Like you, Runeforge,
there's me,
Witch House, and some others, like Erudite. There's not a lot. But you can count them on one or two hands, and with D&D, there's thousands.
There's thousands. Someone pointed out, and do you know if you did D&D, you could probably turn your YouTube channel into a full-time job?
And you'd be miserable.
Yeah, and I went, but I don't want to talk about something I don't want to talk about. I like being poor.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is even making content. Like Delve had a good idea where they did a version for D&D and a version for Shadowdark.
Yeah.
And that's probably contributed to why they did so well with their Kickstarter. It's because of that crowd, right? It was that you get both audiences. which is great. But I don't even want to look up D&D rules to figure that out.
No, I actually went through because I'm having a bit of a clear out because I keep getting sent physical copies, which is such a nice place to be. But my whole thing I was saying last night when I was talking to Ewan, what you see behind me is my collection.
Right.
So as stuff comes in, stuff goes out.
Oh, so you're if your shelves are full, that's it.
Yeah. Because my shelves are games that I will run, not that games I want to play, only games that I plan to run at some stage. Right. And I don't think I'm ever going back to 5e. So now I'm slowly just clearing out. And I've got some amazing 5e content and some amazing adventures I really want to run. But I know it's never going to happen because
you can convert them.
Yeah, it's not at the top. And I've got the PDF. So if I'm going to convert them, I'll convert the PDFs. And I'd rather my books go to someone that's going to love them, appreciate them, and play them than them just sat behind me.
Yes. They're just collecting dust at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do buy some books for just the art, or it's such a cool book that I just have to have it, right? Kind of thing. But other than that, like I said, I started buying everything, and then if it's in a A5 format and it's Shadowdark, I'm buying it. If it's a letter size, like if it's 11 by 8.5 by 11, I think about buying it, and I might not. So it's because it's like I'm that purist kind of thing where I wanted to keep it in the small format.
Yeah. See, I love Shadowdark and I love the Mortborg engine, and they both fit perfectly in little bits on my shelf, and they're both exactly the same system. They're both D20 rollover, but the subtle differences. And Mortborg, if people said, "Do you want to run a one shot?" They'll go, "Do you want to do a Shadowdark one shot?" And I go, "Kind of don't mind, but let's just do a Mortborg or Pirate Borg or something along those lines. Do you want to play a character for several weeks or a month? I'm not going to do Mortborg. Let's do Shadowdark, because Shadowdark is brilliant for one shots right until the point when they've got to sort out their equipment. Because you can do a character in like seconds, and they go, right, here you go, you've got 40 gold pieces, right, go and get some equipment. And then there can be an hour to 2 hours as a party sorting out equipment. You're like, come on, just pick something.
It's hard to tell a story in one shot, right?
Yeah.
And especially like progression, meaning, like making the characters feel more alive, you need progression.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do in a one shot, like I think mini campaigns would be great, like maybe 3 to 4 games, like 4 shot, basically, like a mini series, right? Those, I think those are great. But Shadowdark is still good with long-term campaigns too.
Oh, it's amazing for long-term campaigns.
I think it does well. Like, and the rules are simple enough to where you don't have to worry about it getting clogged up even at the higher levels.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying that, playing in Zane's games on the Monday. So we've only played 1 week, but it's quite nice because we've all played 5th edition for years, and we all do make our own rules with Shadowdark as it is. There aren't a lot of rules, but it's like he doesn't mind re-rolling, using the luck point to re-roll on a 1, where rules as written you can't. But he's like, if you want to use a luck token, you can, which, it's your own game.
Are the rules as written you can't re-roll a 1?
Yeah.
I thought that's only grinder mode. Is that
right? Possibly, but I think we are playing grinder mode as well.
Okay.
So I know he's playing a couple of modes in, but it's on spellcasting. Sorry.
Oh, spellcasting.
Yeah. Specifically,
I allow it. Because I like them using their luck tokens, because when they're out, then they're out.
Yeah,
that adds a lot of drama. As soon as they're out of luck tokens, they're like, oh shit, that's what goes through their heads.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I've avoided games with meta currencies for years because we never used. I don't think because what was it called in 5e? Inspiration, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Which we never used. It was a rule because it was an optional rule, sort of chucked right at the back of the Dungeon Master's Guide, Games Master's Guide, isn't it? For Dungeon Master's Guide for 5th edition. And we never used it. And obviously, I use it a lot in Shadowdark, but then I play a lot of Savage Worlds. I play a lot of the
Bennies and Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
Bennies, like they the GM usually makes it rain with bennies, you know.
Just throw them out at players so that
And
you can get them
players are
back.
encouraged to just spend.
Yeah, and I'm playing a lot of Modifius 2D20, which again, play that well and give out all those, momentum to get them to spend it. You get your additional points back. It's so much more fun. And I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to see a Shadowdark sort of game that does that in a meta currency. So you get the players to spend the luck, encourage them to get luck, but every time you spend a luck, the games master is going to get a luck point or something back to sort of throw it back and make it a little bit more interactive, because that's the problem with luck points, I think.
I think there is one of the systems that came out recently does that, where it's kind of like a bad thing. If you roll bad on something, the GM gets like a luck token to use against you.
Okay.
I think one of the systems has that. I forget which one.
Yeah, because that's by far the best part of Daggerheart for me. I didn't enjoy Daggerheart, but the meta currency backwards and forwards between the games master and the players is I love, because especially if you're playing face to face, like you get with Savage Worlds, because I've got, I don't know if you've got the box sets, and you're handing out poker chips to people, and people love the tactile nature of poker chips.
I started I haven't had a game at home for a long time, but I started doing that again, and it's awesome, because now I'm making little crafts to add to it. I'm actually buying little coins to use for the luck tokens. I'm things like that. I made a lamp. I bought a LED lamp, but the problem is they have timers, but you can't find one that's only 1 hour. They're all like 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours. So I had to buy a timer, and then I had to redo the wiring and just do all this stuff in it. So when I click a button, it turns the lamp on. It lasts for exactly an hour, and then it turns off. And once it's off, your light is out.
Do you know what you want to do? Attach something to all your players' little fingers. So when the light goes out, it sends electric shocks to them.
No, don't let them know. That way, when they look over and they notice that it's out, they're like, "Oh."
Yeah. That is an absolute spark of genius on behalf of Kelsey, isn't it?
Yes. The real time timer is cool. Like for some games, an hour I think is too long, because of realistically you're in town for a while, then eventually you get to the dungeon and really you have an hour and a half to play. There's only one torch timer that's going to expire.
Yeah, you've got to knock it down to 30. I think if you're a session that's 2 hours, 2.5 hours or less, you've got to be on half an hour timers.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
I kind of agree with that. My players would not like to hear that, but I kind of agree with it.
Yeah. Have you ever done a proper hex crawl with it?
Well, while I was between projects, I was doing a Shadowdark West Marches hex crawl with people that were just joining and playing, and it was interesting. And I do like hex crawls, like actual where the map is blank and you start out.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
I usually will have a map ahead of time and then hex crawl the locations on that map. Like, what terrain it is already. It's just that what locations might be there or what things like that. Yeah, that I let build as you explore, but usually I don't start with a blank map.
Right, but it's whether you go blank map or pre-generated map. What I like, because I've never really cared about encumbrance. I think years of playing 3.5, years of playing, 5th edition or Vampire the Masquerade, things like that don't care about encumbrance. Shadowdark's the first game where I care about encumbrance, especially if you're doing a hex crawl, because they'll go, well, that hex is 2 days away, so we need four days worth of rations or whatever. And then they'll roll something, which means that hex means they can never go in it again, and they've got to go round. And the reality of they're going to run out of food, they've got enough to get there and not to get home, is just absolutely brilliant. And they're wandering around in the dark and stuff.
I agree. And the encumbrance rule, I think, is a great rule. Like my 5e game, some of the characters are carrying like 12 javelins, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, where are you putting these? You know, I don't want to ask where you're putting them. You know, it might be too personal, but you know, like, where are you carrying these?
I think a bag of holding's got an awful lot to answer for.
Right. Well, if you find a bag of holding in Shadowdark, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and I love that even mounts that they added have where they need food to survive too.
Yeah.
So if you're riding that horse, you know, that's 10 slots that you take up. So that means only 5 slots left for that horse. And now you got to feed that horse, which is a hit die 2 creature. It takes 2 rations per day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
or you eat your horse.
What?
Or you eat your horse.
Or you eat your horse. Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna have to.
The donkey and mule is a good alternative for that because they only eat 1 ration per day.
Yes. Yeah. So where do you see sort of going forward with this? Obviously.
So I'm still trugging along with it. I'm going to be play testing it for a while. I'm going to probably do some play testing on your channel. You know, I'll throw up some who wants to kind of play test. And now that this is out, you know, most people probably didn't know what I was making, but now that you have this, they might want to play it, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do some play testing on your channel, and I have my own channel that I have a bunch of gamers on that I'll do some more play testing there, and with my home group and with my other groups that I'm in. And just keep fleshing it out and getting the book done. I'm still doing. I went the same route that Zane did and Bunny with the Launch Boom, using them for the help with the Kickstarter. I've never done anything like this before, so you know I thought any assistance would be good, and so I went with them, and you know we're working on all of the details now to get what needs to happen, but I wanted to put it out sooner than later, and it started out as a zine. It started out as a 64-page thing. As you can see, it's already up to 200 pages. So
yeah,
and I have to stop myself. I have to smack myself and say, don't keep adding stuff. Stop it.
Yeah, you creators are a pain. You're actually the biggest pain in my ass because
you're welcome.
You send me stuff and then you go, I've got one that I've got to do review in the next 2 because his Kickstarter's gone live, and he sent me the book a few months ago, and it was 150 pages. The Kickstarter's now gone live, and he's gone, I've got to send you the new book. It's been updated. I was like, yeah, send it over. I'll get the review done because I've read everything. I'm ready to go. He went, I've added another 110 pages. I'm like, oh, for sake.
Thank you. And that's what I'm trying to rein myself in, right? Because like when you think of things, you just go, and like if I'm working on it and then I feel like, oh, I just don't want to work on it right now, I still work on other stuff. I'm like, I move to a different thing that I've had in my brain. Same thing with like, I think Chubby Funster was talking about that. He just moves to a different thing, works on that for a while, then moves back. I'm kind of the same way. Yeah. Where I got a couple of modules being worked on. I have another zine type setting. And this one, I am going to keep it as a zine. I am not going to let it get out of control. So, that kind of stuff. I have all that, like a bunch of stuff in the background being worked on as well.
Yeah, that's really good and really disciplined, because I'm terrible. I've got loads of video ideas. If I record a video, I have to edit the video, do the thumbnail, do the description, do everything, and make sure it's ready to go before I can record another video. Most YouTubers that I speak to, they will do like a day of recording. They'll record 2 or 3 videos in a day. Then over that week, they will then edit those and then send them out. I have to complete something before I can move on to the next project. My brain won't allow me to. I can't park something,
right?
And not do it. It's awful.
It's hard for me to complete something. Like my wife is like very happy that I'm so fixed on this book right now. Yeah, and I've been that way for a while. And she's like, usually you move on to other things, but I'm like, no, this is something that it's getting done. Yeah. Because like, ADD kicks in, whatever. It's like, ooh, shiny object. I got to go see what that is. Right. But the thing is, like this, like I said, most of this is already done. I'll just have to put it in a nice format, and once it's there, then I need to add the artwork and stuff, and fill the pages in and things like that. So there's but I have a lot of art too that's not in the book. I have it like in folders right now, just waiting to be put in there. So waiting but then there's also some that I need to commission because I want a certain thing in a certain location, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, amazing. Perfect. Right. Thank you for coming on, Dean. I'm looking forward. Well, we're catching up tomorrow night with Exploding Dice. Let's see who dies first. But more importantly,
I got 14 hit points. You're going out first.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure. I think one of the characters has only got 4 or 5. And I'm not sure whether OG picked him.
I think I'm going to stick to a D4 weapon. That way, I get a lot of exploding damage.
Yeah. There's some good. The way it's been done. The way Ralph's done it it's really good because he's got certain weapons that got like 3d4 and then other weapons that have got 2d10. I'm taking the 3d4 over the 2d10. Yeah, because on average, I think with Exploding Dice, you're going to do a lot more. Damage
you have a 25% chance on each die to roll a 4, and then that's another D. So it just keeps going. Like in Savage Worlds, I've seen some really big numbers a lot of times.
Yeah, I've seen 30s.
I've seen in the 40s before.
Wow, that's
it was like, how did that happen?
Yeah, it's a great feel though, isn't it? You sort of go, oh,
not really, because that was my bad guy that died.
Oh, okay. But over on the Discord, we'll be sort of setting this up for live play test on Halloween.
Halloween.
So get your green face paint and.
I already got all my costume stuff ready. I'm working on the costume still, but I have all of the materials and I've already started working on it. So.
Fantastic. My wife's really good at making stuff. So
when I want to have a competition.
Let's see if we can go.
And then we could have the viewers vote on who's got a better costume.
Whoever's can get a luck token. Because we used to do Comic Cons as families, and she used to do all the.
Oh no, you got a ringer. That's not fair.
So
I'm doing all this myself.
She'd make everything up. But we'll definitely sort of get dressed up and have fun on Halloween.
Yeah, that'll be. I think it'll be a good time.
But and obviously, if you want to be involved in the playtest of this on the live or any of the playtests, then join my Discord. Have you got your own Discord then as well? Do you want to?
I do. I'm not going to promote it yet right now.
No. But... Okay. Well, I'll put it in the video description. So if you want to get more playtesters off this, then
Well, they could approach me in your Discord.
Okay. Perfect.
That's fine.
Perfect. Right, for everyone else, for comments and stuff, thank you for joining in. Meat is back on the menu. That's the main thing that we've learned, I think, the takeaway from this. So Kickstarter go in February, March this year, because we've got a time machine.
Right.
And Dean, thank you for coming on. It's good to say good to meet you. I'd say we've been speaking for months now and backwards and forwards. So for everyone else, we're back. We will be live tomorrow on the Tabletop Tales, not on this channel. With Atomic Shadows watching one of us going to die first, so it's not going to be Dean. So thank you.
I always go for a TPK, but I've been in the last few games, so I don't want that to happen now.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Call me selfish.
Yeah, true. Let's see if we get one. I think there's a good chance with Exploding Dice it could happen. Cool. So for everyone, thank you for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow live. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.